She married a rich man. But was she happy? When Emma was 24 years old, she believed that money could solve almost every problem in life. She worked in a small clothing store and struggled to pay her bills every month. While her friends traveled, bought new phones, and enjoyed expensive restaurants, Emma counted every dollar she earned. She often dreamed about a different life, a life without financial stress. One evening, while attending a charity event organized by her manager, Emma met a wealthy businessman named Richard Collins. Richard was 42 years old, owned several successful companies, and lived in a beautiful mansion outside the city. He arrived in a luxury car, wore expensive suits, and seemed confident and successful. Emma was impressed. Richard was kind, polite, and generous. After a few conversations, he asked her to dinner. Emma accepted immediately. Their relationship moved quickly. Richard took her to expensive restaurants, luxury hotels, and beautiful destinations she had only seen in magazines. For the first time in her life, Emma felt special. She no longer worried about rent or bills. Her friends admired her new lifestyle and often said she was lucky. 1 year later, Richard proposed. The engagement ring was worth more than Emma's yearly salary. Without hesitation, she said yes. The wedding was elegant and expensive. Hundreds of guests attended. Everything looked perfect. Emma felt she had finally achieved the life she always wanted. After the wedding, she moved into Richard's mansion. At first, it felt like a dream. The house had a swimming pool, a private gym, and beautiful gardens. There were staff members who cleaned the house and prepared meals. Emma no longer had to worry about money. However, after several months, she began noticing things she had ignored before. Richard was always busy. He left early in the morning and often returned late at night. Even when he was home, he spent most of his time answering emails or making business calls. Some days they barely spoke. Emma told herself it was normal. After all, successful people worked hard. But the loneliness slowly grew. One evening, she prepared a special dinner for Richard's birthday. She spent hours choosing the menu and decorating the dining room. She wanted them to spend time together. However, just before dinner, Richard called. "I'm sorry," he said. "An important meeting came up. I can't make it." Emma sat alone at the table for hours. The candles burned down. The food became cold. For the first time, she wondered whether money was enough. As the months passed, Emma noticed another problem. Richard liked making decisions for her. He chose where they traveled, what events they attended, and even what clothes she wore to important gatherings. At first, Emma thought he was simply trying to help. Later, she realized he expected her to follow his choices without question. Whenever she expressed a different opinion, Richard became annoyed. "You don't understand how this world works," he would say. Emma slowly felt that she was losing her independence. One afternoon, she met her old friend Sarah for coffee. Sarah noticed immediately that something was wrong. "You have everything people dream about," Sarah said. "But you don't look happy." Emma sighed. "I thought money would make everything easier." Sarah nodded. "And did it?" Emma remained silent. Deep inside, she already knew the answer. A few weeks later, Emma decided to start a small online business selling handmade jewelry. It was something she had always wanted to do. She excitedly told Richard about her idea. Instead of supporting her, he laughed. "Why would you do that?" he asked. "You don't need to work. Emma felt hurt. "It's not about money," she explained. "I want something that's mine." Richard shook his head. "It's a waste of time." For the first time in their marriage, Emma became angry. She realized that Richard did not truly understand her dreams. He provided comfort, but he did not support her personal growth. Despite his opinion, Emma started the business anyway. At first, sales were slow. She worked from a small room in the mansion and spent hours learning about marketing and design. The work was challenging, but it made her feel alive. For the first time in a long while, she woke up excited each morning. As her business slowly grew, Emma gained confidence. She met new people, learned new skills, and discovered strengths she never knew she had. The success was not immediate, but it was meaningful because she had earned it herself. Meanwhile, her relationship with Richard became more distant. One evening, after another argument, Emma asked a question she had avoided for months. "Are you happy?" Richard looked surprised. After a long silence, he answered honestly. "I don't know," Emma nodded. "Neither am I." That conversation changed everything. For the first time, they spoke openly about their marriage. Richard admitted that he had spent his entire life chasing success and money. He believed providing financial security was the best way to show love. He had never learned how to connect emotionally with people. Emma admitted that she had married him partly because of the life he offered. She had confused comfort with happiness. The truth was painful for both of them. Over the following months, they worked hard to improve their relationship. They attended counseling sessions and spent more time together. Richard began listening more. Emma became more honest about her feelings. Slowly, things improved. Yet some problems remained. Eventually, they realized they wanted different futures. They respected each other, but they were not truly compatible. The decision was difficult, but they agreed to separate peacefully. Many people were shocked. Friends could not understand why someone would leave such a luxurious life. But Emma finally understood something important. Wealth can buy comfort, but it cannot buy happiness, love, trust, or purpose. After the divorce, Emma moved into a small apartment. Compared to the mansion, it seemed tiny, yet she felt more free than she had in years. Her jewelry business continued growing. She worked hard, made mistakes, learned lessons, and slowly built a successful company. Several years later, Emma attended a local business event. There she met a teacher named Michael. He was kind, funny, and genuinely interested in her thoughts and dreams. He was not wealthy. He drove an old car and lived in a modest apartment. But whenever they spent time together, Emma felt something she had not felt for years. Peace. Their relationship developed slowly. They talked for hours, supported each other's goals, and built a strong friendship before falling in love. One evening, while walking through a quiet park, Michael asked Emma a question. "Do you ever regret your past?" Emma thought carefully before answering. "No," she said, "because it taught me what really matters." Michael smiled. "And what matters?" Emma squeezed his hand gently. "Not how much money someone has. It's how they make you feel when life becomes difficult." Years later, Emma often shared her story with young people. She explained that there is nothing wrong with wanting financial stability. Money is important. It can provide opportunities and security. But happiness comes from something deeper. It comes from meaningful relationships, personal growth, purpose, and mutual respect. Emma had once believed that marrying a rich man would solve all her problems. Instead, she discovered that every life has challenges. The question is not how much money a person has. The question is whether they share your values, support your dreams, and make you feel truly loved. In the end, Emma's dream did come true. She found happiness. It simply looked very different from what she had imagined when she was 24 years old.